A renaissance is a period of growth, change, blossom. India is undeniably in a technological renaissance, with Hyderabad at the center of this rapid growth. Home to Facebook, Google, and many other tech companies, Hyderabad has drawn residents and companies from around the world to its moderate climes and innovative hubs. But before there was a technological renaissance in Hyderabad, there was a cultural one. Nizams from the north occupied Hyderabad, bringing their culture and traditions, and the confluence of heritage created Hyderabad's unique identity we see today. So today, as the city is in flux once again, why shouldn't its culture see changes in kind? How does rapid digitization, urbanization affect art? These were the questions explored at the 14th edition of the Krishnakriti Festival. Here, we go inside this one-of-a-kind weekend.
Very excited. I don't know how people are going to accept the new art. It's new every time. I mean, we're reinventing and getting new genre to the whole festival every year. And I mean, I think you need to reinvent, otherwise it becomes a boring, same old boring festival. So we want to expose Hyderabad people, art lovers, general people, students to a new form of art and what's going on in the city. So I think this is an opportunity for them to see what's happening. And invariably, doing a single show and trying to get a crowd and doing it as a part of festival makes a lot of difference. I think there's more buzz, people are excited, they want to go out, they want to see.
Prashant and Rekha Lahoti created the Krishnakriti Festival in an attempt to drive growth to Hyderabad's contemporary cultural sector. The festival kicked off with a traveling art show of sorts, with galleries and institutions across the city playing host to different contemporary artists. Like at Goethe Zentrum, the German Cultural Institute, where artist Katharina Kakkar's show Crossing the Lakshman Rekha kicked off.
You know, Katharina I've been following for a while with her work, and I like the fact that she's open. She says what needs to be said, and she uses the medium that says it the best. And I found that very nice. I like the fact that women are talking about themselves and the issues pertaining to us.
Katharina Kakkar composed a series of works exploring womanhood, sexuality, and the systems that put both in danger. Inspired by the rise in violence against women, Kakkar's work takes markers of vitality and desire and gives them new meaning.
I think the diversity of the mediums that she has used and the deep sort of empathy with women that she has portrayed through all these, it makes you think.
The first time, I'm seeing an artist who's coming out with an issue that talks about sensuality, that talks about sexuality, which is, like a taboo. I was really attracted to the chilies that are hanging. Because, as I see people moving by, it sounds like a chime, sounds like a wind chime. But then that's when I realized that women need to make the sound.
At Kalakriti Gallery, just a few kilometers away, young emerging artists shared wall space with established masters, such as Jogen Chaudhary at Art in Situ, in works that explore digital anxiety, historical preservation, and surveillance. The main events are yet to begin, but the tone was set. This international festival might span across time periods and artistic styles, but it was still decidedly contemporary in both scope and practice. Telangana State Art Gallery is a multi-story modernist building with a yawning atrium and multiple gallery rooms. Here, Krishnakriti Festival curator Dhritabhrata Bhattacharya Tato brought together 4 rooms, each centered on a theme.
We talk of Hyderabad when Bill Gates comes here, Tim Cook comes here, and similar like the Google head or Microsoft head. So the identity that we kind of bestowed upon this city after the era of Nizam is technology. So we thought that it might be interesting to see how art and technology, they kind of interact with each other. We created a quadrant of art and technology, and we chalked out 4 vectors out of it. And these 4 vectors are existential, exploratory, experiential, and evolutionary. So therefore we have 4 people, Premjesh, Georgina, Faisal, and myself, from different backgrounds. And then we thought we might be able to do justice to put up a show on this vast theme.
Contemporary art is increasingly multimedia, increasingly installation-based, and less figurative than works of time periods past.
What people find very, very amazing is that every year there is something new which is introduced to the city for the very first time. So for instance, in the 14th edition, we have a very rich display of digital art.
Georgina Maddox is a Delhi-based curator who curated a room in State Art Gallery.
I'm looking at how gender plays a role in technology. So Prema Murthy, for example, is talking about women workers who work in factories making those motherboards and what are the conditions that they work under and how they negotiate with their boss. Baiju Parthan has used low-grade technology like lenticular prints to sort of talk about how planes and bombing happens and how they suddenly appear out of nowhere. So that happens when you pass his work. And Mukesh is talking about how basically nature and technology share a sort of tempestuous relationship in the sense that technology impinges itself on nature, and this e-waste is something which we haven't really figured out how to deal with because it takes a long time to get biodegraded. So basically he's put money plants into these old computers, and he said you can recycle your computers and make them into money planter. Mawa's talking about Facebook and the web and how it's all interconnected, but how we sort of make fictitious characters of ourselves on Facebook. And she sort of tried to subvert that by removing the characters' heads and made them like genderless or not individuals anymore, anonymous in that sense. Mohan Jangid is talking about pornography and art and how that manifests on the web. There's a kind of sense of, well, you could say anonymity. So anybody could be chatting with anybody. There could be any kind of manifestation of sexuality on the internet. So it's in a way it's liberating, but it's also a misogynist in a sort of sense. So he's looking at both sides of the coin.
Really awesome to see so many exhibits, so many different styles and so much of creativity. You actually have to stand there and understand what these artists are trying to portray.
This is my first time attending one, and it was pretty impressive, like everything I've seen in the movies and stuff, all of that. And they used a lot of new materials. I mean, as an architecture student, I tend to observe stuff like that. Even if I don't understand what the artwork signifies, the material usage and everything was pretty cool.
This is one of the kind in terms of the festival per se. I never imagined art could be perceived that way, right? So that was interesting, out of the world.